Hey everyone, Duke here, and welcome to the Witch Queen edition of the Ultimate Guide to Ascendant Alloy, Ascendant Shards, and Legendary Shards. These three materials are some of the most asked about and most important in the game, so I wanted to make an updated guide, and in the case of Ascendant Alloy, new guide to all of these materials. Let's get right into it. Starting with the new material coming in the Witch Queen, we have Ascendant Alloy. This material allows for you to craft enhanced perks on crafted weapons using the new crafting system in the Enclave. The first and easiest way to acquire Ascendant Alloy is from the Cryptarch in the Tower. You can only buy one per week at a cost of 400 Legendary Shards, so make sure to pick this up each week if you're looking to be able to craft enhanced perks. 400 Legendary Shards is a pretty hefty cost, but is the only guaranteed consistent way to acquire Ascendant Alloy, and the fact that you can only buy one per week, I find it to definitely be worth it, at least to get a bit of a stockpile going. The next way to get Ascendant Alloy is to hit rank 16 with Banshee. This is a pretty big ask for just one Ascendant Alloy, but it is something you can do somewhat passively as you play. I'd also recommend picking up the Banshee bounties before playing activities in order to rank up with him faster in order to get this Ascendant Alloy. The third way of getting Ascendant Alloy is going to be the way most players will start getting more of this material, and that is through the weekly story mission playlist. This playlist has 3 difficulty tiers, with the higher tiers giving you a higher chance of receiving an alloy. The hero version is fully match-made, with the legend and master difficulties requiring a fire team. However, even if you don't have a fire team, I found that the legend difficulty tier to be easier to solo than the legendary campaign was. Yes, in fact, these are 2 very different things, so if you were able to do the legendary campaign, you should be good to do legend mode here solo if needed, as long as you're leveled for it. And if you do have a fire team, that's even better because it doesn't scale to fire team size like the legendary campaign did. The final way to get Ascendant Alloy is through Master Wellspring. If you have a larger group or also need the weapon that is dropping for that day from Wellspring, this is a good option. But in general, for specifically just getting Ascendant Alloy, sticking with the weekly story mission playlist is your best bet. Do note that you will need to be rank 12 and rank 18 respectively with Finch in order to unlock the difficulty selections for both story missions and Wellspring. Next we have Ascendant Shards. These are used in order to fully masterwork your armor in order to get the full 10 energy to use on mods, as well as get a +2 bonus to all stats per masterworked armor piece. The first way to get Ascendant Shards is through the Season Pass at levels 85, 90, and 94. These are pretty easy to get while just getting XP in any way while playing the game normally. There are also multiple vendors who will give an Ascendant Shard for resetting your rank in their respective activity for the first time each season. This list has been added to for Season of the Risen and includes Gunsmith Rep, Shax for Crucible, Zavala for Strikes, Drifter for Gambit, Saint 14 for Trials, as well as the War Table and the Helm for Psyops, and Zur and the Treasure Hoard for Dares of Eternity. Additionally, Rahul in the Tower sells Ascendant Shards. You will need 10 Enhancement Prisms, 100 of the rotating planetary material, which if you're lucky he may also be selling on that day, as well as 50,000 Glimmer, which he also sells. If you're short on prisms, you can also convert cores to prisms with Rahul as well. The master version of both Vault of Glass and Grasp of Avarice have a chance to drop an Ascendant Shard directly from every encounter. I assume that when the master version of Vow of the Disciple comes out in April, that it will also include this chance at Ascendant Shards as well. The final way to acquire Ascendant Shards, and one of the best and most consistent ways, is through Master and Grandmaster Nightfalls. Both of these activities will consistently drop Ascendant Shards, and have the additional benefit of potential double Nightfall loot weeks that periodically occur in Destiny 2. The one thing to think about with these Nightfalls is farming during a shorter Nightfall or easier Nightfall week. For this season, Arms Dealer is going to be your best bet as both the fastest and by far easiest Nightfall of the bunch. However, if double loot falls on another Nightfall week, and it's a Nightfall you and your team are comfortable with, others could end up being even better loot for your time investment. If you don't have a team to run the higher level Nightfalls with, you can also run the hero level Nightfalls, as it does have matchmaking to try to get enhancement prisms, which you can then convert to Ascendant Shards as mentioned earlier. I'd also recommend running with the Greater Core Harvest Ghost mod if using this technique. And lastly, we have Legendary Shards. Over the past few seasons, Legendary Shards have become an extremely useful material with the introduction of Focus Trials and Gambit engrams, along with the continued progression of focused Umbral engrams in the helm, as well as potential Zur rolls on weekends. Before doing anything with Legendary Shards, I'd highly recommend focusing on reaching rank 20 on the Season Pass for the additional Legendary Shard for every Legendary or Exotic you dismantle. One Legendary Shard may not sound like much, but over time as you break down literally thousands of weapons and armor pieces, it will add up significantly. The Season Pass also has 150 total Legendary Shards up for grabs, so make sure to collect those as well. Some of the best activities to run for Legendary Shards are the main core activities of Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. There's a couple reasons for this. First, they're quick activities that can be completed without too much thought. Second, they give you Legendary Shards directly to your inventory just for completing matches once you reach 1500 power, as well as the potential for multiple Legendary armor and weapon drops. And third, these activities allow for the use of the Prosperity Ghost mods, which give you an even higher chance for even more Legendary drops. And not only that, but all these activities now also have Vendor Reputation, which will give you additional guaranteed Legendaries, as well as other assorted materials when you rank up. Due to this, whenever one of these activities is the double Reputation week, it would be advisable to focus on that activity to get more drops. Also, don't forget to pick up bounties for each activity, as this will give you XP towards your Season Pass, unlocking some materials that you will want, as well as give you an additional powerful Legendary drop to help with leveling purposes after completing 8 bounties. Note that everything else being equal, I do personally prefer Strikes over the other two options, as you can also get drops from enemies that you kill throughout. I'm also personally just more of a PvE focused player, and I feel like Strikes are the best activity to just shoot aliens and chill with, but again, all these activities are solid options. While playing anything in the game, you'll also acquire a Glimmer. You can use this Glimmer at Rahul in order to buy extra planetary materials, depending on what he currently has on rotation. Although as of the making of this video, his rotation is bugged and not changing, but this should be fixed very soon. You can also get planetary materials from the Season Pass, each respective planet as either pickups or bounties, as well as Strikes giving an additional benefit of giving you materials from the planet the strike is on after completion. I'd recommend focusing on Data Lattice or Dusklight Shards, as you can then use these materials to go to the EDZ or Nessus and get more Legendaries from turning them in. For those who haven't yet, running the Witch Queen campaign on all 3 characters, even more so on Legendary, is a great way to get Legendary Shards. You will get multiple Legendary drops per mission and an insane amount of upgrade modules, which is one of the biggest Legendary Shard sinks for all players of the game. With upgrade modules costing 10 Legendary Shards plus other materials each to buy, completing the campaign will be effectively worth hundreds of Legendary Shards between the upgrade modules and plethora of Legendary drops from each loot chest. Keep in mind this upgrade module cost when upgrading your gear as well, as the more upgrade modules you need to buy, the more Legendary Shards you lose and won't have for other uses such as focusing engrams. This is a huge sink for a lot of players that instantly upgrade every single drop they get, and you can easily save thousands of shards in a very short amount of time by just waiting to upgrade in bigger chunks versus every level or 2. Tears of Eternity is another great activity to run for Legendary Shards, as like Strikes, you can get Legendary drops while in the activity itself, as well as in post-activity completion chests. You will also additionally get treasure keys, which can be used to buy more Legendaries from the chest in Zur's treasure hoard. I'd also recommend picking up Star Horse bounties, as this will give you numerous Paraversal hauls, which can drop additional Legendary gear and treasure keys, which will add even more Legendary Shards to your haul. No pun intended. Or maybe a little bit. And the ship you get from completing Rank 16 with Zur is one of my favorites, which is a nice added bonus. One final thing you can do if you have excess Bright Dust, or would rather use your Bright Dust on function over form, is to purchase concentrated Matter Gems, Glimmer Shards, and Scavenger's Boons from Eververse. There's also Rainmakers, which also will add to your Glimmer as you play the game, and are acquired randomly from dismantling gear. You probably have a lot of these unused. These will give you upgrade modules, Glimmer, or planetary materials, which as we just went over, all contribute towards acquiring more Legendary Shards. I hope this guide to acquiring these highly sought after materials in the Witch Queen expansion was helpful. If you have any other tips to help others, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.